Hello and welcome to Tomato Junkie's Kitchen, also known as Sarah's Kitchen. Finally, the potato salad video. But a couple of things before I do that. First, I want you to see one of the last blooms of my English roses. These are David Austin English roses, and if you've never smelled one or anything like that and you're a rose fan, they are awesome. This particular one is called Lady Emma Hamilton, and it has such a gorgeous fragrance. So anyway, that's totally off topic, but the other thing I wanted to show you was this thing. In case you haven't seen it before, this is called a Silpat. It's a thing you can put on your baking sheets, and it's totally non-stick, so you don't have to keep buying like parchment paper or anything like that. I mean, it's just, they're really awesome. We use them all the time, and they last a long time. And now they've gotten a lot more inexpensive. So anyway, the potato salad. This thing is so simple. And as Kurt knows, which he's filming for me today, which I appreciate because we couldn't really figure out a way for you to be able to see everything that we wanted you to see unless he did the filming. So anyway, this potato salad, like I said, is my #1 most requested recipe whenever I serve it. It's totally simple, and other than salt and pepper, it has essentially 4 ingredients, which are the potatoes, mayonnaise, not Miracle Whip. Miracle Whip does not belong in potato salad, in my opinion, okay? It's for sandwiches and other things like that that you might like to put it on, but in my opinion, does not belong in potato salad. The green onions and the mustard. The dressing itself is just the 2 things, the mayonnaise and the mustard. The other thing that I think people do as far as making mistakes in making potato salad is drowning it in dressing. I mean, that's, I see that over and over, and especially if you buy it at a store. And I think that's one of the reasons that people really like this potato salad, is because I'm careful not to, quote, overdress it, okay? I think there are 2 potatoes that work particularly well in this, and one is the standard red potato, and another is a Yukon Gold. Now, probably the best, if you're going to use the red, the best is what's here, and this is about 3 pounds of what's called red B-size potatoes. You may have heard them called new potatoes before. The supermarkets probably don't really sell true B-size, I mean new potatoes, but if you're ever able to get them from a farmer's market or a local farm, I mean, there is a taste difference. It's kind of hard to describe. There's more of a depth of flavor in those potatoes that are grown on a regular farm as opposed to mass-produced like that. So anyway, that's just a little tip there for you. The other thing is I boil them in salted water. Some people will bake potatoes that they put in potato salad. I don't do that. I boil them in salted water, and again, it has to be this type of waxy type potato. Idaho russets don't work well in this because they tend to be too mealy and they kind of like disintegrate if you try to put them in a potato salad. Everybody has different opinions on potato salad. Pioneer Woman, which is somebody I do watch, when she makes potato salad, she mashes it. It's like a puree, and to me, that's really not potato salad. I mean, potato salad has to have chunks, in my opinion. So when you boil your potatoes, bring them to a boil, and then salt the water after they come to a boil, because if you salt it before it starts boiling, that delays the boiling, believe it or not. Again, a chemical thing. So salt your water, and how long you boil them, you're just going to have to watch that and see, because it depends on the size of the potato. Also the size of the pan, how much circulation you have in the boiling water around the potatoes. So that's another big thing. So anyway, good cooking, in my opinion, often boils down to, no pun intended, also boils down to, just using good technique and, okay, I'm going to check and see, stick the fork in it, see how tender they are, that kind of thing. And when I get to the dressing part, that's also part of it. This particular recipe I can give you the proportions for the original recipe, which is, and I'll put it in the comments so you won't have to worry about it. But the original recipe is 3 pounds of whatever potato you're using, 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise, and then 1 to 2 tablespoons of coarse grained mustard. Now, when I use mayonnaise, this happens to be a light, but you can use the regular version of mayonnaise, and it works just fine. We really prefer Hellmann's. I would say Hellmann's or Kraft. That Duke's mayonnaise, I have tasted that stuff, and I don't think, to me, it's kind of a cross between mayonnaise and Miracle Whip. I don't like it. You have to have, in my opinion, more of a mayonnaise because it's kind of a blank canvas where you can actually put other flavors into it. And then here's a coarse grained mustard. This brand is Grey Poupon, but there are several others out there that are really good brands. So you'll see that what I've done is I've cooked the potatoes and I've cubed them up, okay? And then I'm going to show you just briefly how I do it. It's very simple. This is one of the potatoes. I just cut it in half like that, and then I cut it in half again, and then I just do that. And it's really simple. Again, here's where the chef knife comes in. You know, I've talked about the chef knife. So that's really the way that I do it. And I leave the peels on. You can always peel your potato, but I happen to like the texture of the unpeeled potato, and so does my family. This little tool, and hopefully it doesn't blind you when I'm showing you, is what's called a bench scraper, and it's used a lot in pastries and that type of thing. The other thing I do is I salt and pepper as I go, kind of in layers. When you get a potato or two in there, go ahead and salt. And it's okay to do this when the potatoes are just, here's that awesome pepper mill again. It's okay to do that when the potatoes are maybe even a little bit lukewarm. I find that if you do it when they're a little bit lukewarm, they kind of like soak the salt in and the pepper in a little bit better. So that's the way you do that. So it's real simple, and that's how it looks. If you want to chop it finer, or you know, you want bigger chunks, I mean, that's again personal preference. So for this, and I probably only have maybe 1.5 pounds of potatoes in this one. See this small amount of mayonnaise, or at least probably for what you've seen for potato salad, that looks like a small amount. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take probably that much, maybe a little bit more. And again, you know, this is a lot of personal preference. What do you like? How much mustard do you like in something? And you may have to practice this a little bit to get it exactly the way your family might like it, okay? And so what I do is, you know, I keep some spoons nearby, and then I go ahead and I just taste it. Strangely enough, that tastes pretty much perfect the way I would like it, or my family likes it. So I go ahead and I just put this in. And then the other thing, and I'm not going to show you how to chop a red, or you know, slice a red onion, or excuse me, a green onion, because I think you know. But that could be another thing that you use kitchen shears for. You can absolutely use those to chop off these green onions. I use my chef's knife, and then here they are. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and toss this a little bit. And you'll see, you know, when you first put that in, you may be like, okay, that's not enough dressing. And it may not be. You may want to add some more. You can always add more. But if you overdo it, you can't take it away. And, you know, that's the other thing about this recipe. So go light, you know, go slow with it. Now, I would say that's pretty perfect, at least for what our family likes. And then however many green onions you want to put in it. These are just, you know, some chopped up green onions. The, you know, white and the green parts. Another optional ingredient in this that I don't ever put in it really is bacon. Which, you know, bacon makes everything better. But it's kind of like the fairy dust of the food world. At least that's what I call it. And then, again, how many chopped onions you put in there is also personal preference. But this is about what that should look like. That is enough dressing on a potato salad. The thing is, when you make potato salad, you want to be able to taste the potato. And that's where I think a lot of these recipes really go wrong. They just put way too much dressing on it. When I see those in the supermarket, and even like, and I mentioned to you before, here in the St. Louis area, we have a supermarket called Dierberg's, and they have some of the most fantastic products in their deli, but they too put too much dressing on it. And it's kind of puzzling to me because the dressing ingredients are far more expensive than the potatoes. The potatoes are probably the cheapest thing. So by putting too much dressing on it, they're probably decreasing their profit margins. So I just never understood that. So anyway, there's the potato salad. I appreciate all your views and all your shares. Let me know if you have any questions, and please leave me feedback. I don't know if the lighting looked good tonight. I hope it did. But anyway, I also am hoping in the near future to do something with pie crust. That's obviously popular this time of year, and you can do it, especially if you have a food processor. You can do it, and I'll show you how. So take care, and I'll talk to you soon.